Welcome back. I'm talking to ufologist Gary Heseltine, and Gary runs a magazine, an online magazine called UFO Truth. And just tell us where you're at with that at the moment, Gary.
Well, you should know because you write for the magazine. Right. You're a regular columnist. You know exactly where we're at. We've just celebrated the 6th issue, which is a bi-monthly 96-page magazine with an actually 120-page anniversary issue. What's really good is that the magazine is going from strength to strength. Obviously, there's many subscribers all around the world, but we really need to get the message out that this magazine there, and I want to make it the principal English language magazine in the world, and trying to get researchers on from all around the world so that we can have essentially one UFO Truth magazine telling the real truth as it is. Now, it's a complicated subject with many arms to it, and we do our own various bits of research. But in terms of the magazine, it's going really well. But I wanted to just mention the fact that in August 16th, 17th, 2014 in Holmfirth in West Yorkshire at the Civic Hall, the Holmfirth Civic Hall, we're holding a 2-day magazine conference. Last year, in November, just 5 months after the launch, we had the first conference, which you came down briefly at one point. We only had 4 speakers, it was 1 day, but this year, bigger and better. And
so how much is it, Gary?
This is £20 per day, or you can get a £35 for 2 days ticket. All available via the website www.ufotruthmagazine.co.uk. But this year we've got international speakers. Last year it was domestic speakers, but this year we're having the likes of Robert Salas, who was obviously former captain in the US Air Force, who was involved in the military silo Minuteman missiles that were affected by UFOs in the 60s. So he's a very important guy, truth-wise. Mary Rodwell, expat Brit, now living in Australia, but she's one of the leading people in the world dealing with contactees and experiences, and has her own organisation, ACERN. Then we've got the likes of Peter Robbins, co-author of Left at Eastgate with Larry Warren about Rendlesham Forest. Also was a witness at the citizens' hearings. He's coming across from America. We have Pia Knudsen, who's one of the regular columnists from Denmark, who I've met several times now, and she's a dedicated researcher doing very good work in Denmark. We have the likes of Roberto Panotti. He's the last person I've asked to be involved, and he's Italy's top researcher, author of many books, and he's Italy's top researcher. He's a very, very well regarded person. So he's coming over, and then there's the UK element. In fact, there's a certain Richard D. Hall has agreed to speak there, and that's back permitting, obviously.
I probably will be carrying on from the film UFOs and NATO and updating people on the research of that particular film. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's an important subject. It's not one that many people will be aware of, and it's important that we get that truth out there. And I do believe that there is retrieval teams all around the world, and I do believe that special forces have got at times used to do certain things, and it seems perfectly plausible that if there are animal mutilations, that there are human mutilations. I think there is a case there, and we shouldn't hide away from it. It is all part of the truth, and certainly the witness, your source, who we've spoken to privately, I believe your source is good, so it's a story that needs to be told. So that's good. Obviously, Alan Foster, who's a regular columnist for the magazine, and Steve Mera, regular columnist. So it's kind of like all the people who are writing for the magazine, and obviously myself, and I think there's Larry Warren coming down as a co-host, because he's obviously well known, and he's a good convivial, entertaining speaker in his own right.
All right. So what about if people wanted to stay for the 2 days? What is there any accommodation?
Yeah. I mean, basically, they would order the ticket. If you go to the magazine website, there's obviously a subscriptions page, but there's also a conference ordering facility. You pay via PayPal. You can either do the one ticket or get both days for $35. There's various options, and basically you then will be sent an electronic ticket closer to the time, which will give you venues to look at in terms of accommodation, and obviously car parking, etc., etc.
Right. Okay.
What I can say is, so far we're about 3/4 of the tickets have sold.
Right.
So basically, if you weren't aware of it, then I suggest that you have a look at the website and get ordering soon.
Right. And what's the capacity of the venue?
It's 120 seats per day.
Right. Okay. Now, Gary and I have spoken at length about how this subject is represented in the media, and in particular the mainstream media, and because clearly we don't think that researchers such as yourself and honest researchers into the UFO phenomena are represented properly in mainstream, and in fact situations can be concocted in order to trap people to show that their evidence isn't good evidence. Not only that, we have, in my opinion, the non-mainstream field, the UFO research field, in my opinion, has been poisoned with a lot of researchers who I don't think are genuine researchers. They're there to confuse, they're there to mislead, and they're there to put out spurious, non-evidenced fantasists, shall we say, and I could name them, but I'm not going to name them just yet because I'm gathering more evidence on them. But in terms of mainstream, say, entrapment or trying to twist the facts, you've got a few thoughts on that, Gary. Can you just enlighten us on that?
Well, one of the scenarios that I can see, certainly for mainstream, and at various times I'm contacted about, oh, can you get involved in making a documentary, say for Channel 4, Channel 5 or whatever, and it's going to be about abductions and ufology. Well, one of the things that I foresee happening as a twist on a TV programme, certainly for mainstream terrestrial, is that they could attempt to create a false abduction scenario, i.e. an actor basically says, yeah, I've had this, and then it comes across to me as real or to other researchers as real, to try to reel us in. They provide information that says, oh, I've done this, blah, 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 and they want to see how we research it. I can certainly see that as a scenario, but and the reason why I see it as a scenario is that I can see a TV company trying to dupe well-known researchers, certainly about the abduction phenomena, which is obviously loaded, and unless you've got implant evidence or something like that, or marks on the body, you don't. It's often word only. So with the abduction phenomena, what I can foresee is that a TV company at some point may try to set up well-known researchers with a false story to try to reel them in, as if to say at the end of the programme, these researchers fell hook, line and sinker, just accepted everything that the alleged abductee was saying, and they were duped, because we can now reveal that this was an actor, and so this is what the abduction phenomenon is. And I see that as a possible ploy. Whether it's happening now, I don't know, but I certainly think that it's a possible ploy that could happen now or in the future.
Now, what you said there, Gary, might sound a little bit cryptic to someone watching, but we're waiting for something to happen, and if it happens, then you can speak more about this. What we're talking about.
I'm being cryptic because this is possibly an ongoing story, and we're not quite sure. But what I would say in my own case is that I have been dealing with a case, a person that's put out a story, an alleged possible abduction, which on the face of it sounded credible, but as time has gone on, I don't believe is credible, and there's a number of things that happened that don't add up to me, and I've backed away from the investigation. And I certainly know of another researcher who was approached by the same person. So whether this is a ploy, I don't know, but what I would say is that in mine and the other researchers' point of view, we both got cottoned on to what's going on, and it feels like a bit of a setup.
Right. And you think that there's a chance that if it is a setup, it's possibly being set up by a mainstream production which may be coming on TV in the future, but you don't know that.
No, I've got to be very guarded, but my suspicion is that somebody's tried to set me up, and another researcher as well. Might be completely wrong, so therefore I'm not mentioning the company. It would be wrong to do so, but time will tell whether this is true or not.
Right, okay. Join us after this.